So today we will be discussing LTV to CAC ratio. So LTV to CAC ratio is your customer lifetime ratio to customer acquisition cost. So why this metric is important? So in any business, like what's the main purpose of the business is to like generate profits for stakeholders. And how you generate profits for stakeholders? That you have something which you can sell to someone, and that's the core business model. And how you scale the business is like you acquire some new customers, you sell them something, and if they buy enough time or if they buy at a profit to you specifically, then you make a profit, and then at a scale you deliver it to your stakeholders. So that's the core concept of a business, that to generate profit. And how you generate profit is like you spend some money to acquire customer or do marketing, and then you like fulfill that desire or like deliver the goods or whatever, and then you take a profit margin between that. So now what happens is like there is a marketing overhead. So this is a CAC to LTV, LTV to CAC. So over here what we are trying to figure out is how profitable is the business. So even if we like currently business might be making like just $1,000 a month, but the idea is to calculate this so we know that if we are doing like a 8-figure business or like 10 million or 100 million a month, then what's our profit margins will look like, and what's the like profitability on the individual order level. So we will be like in this over here we'll start with the like out of balance business model. So ideally what we want is like 1:3. So 1:3 ratio. So let's go first with this like how we calculate this thing. So how we calculate your customer acquisition cost is so we look at like total monthly marketing budget divided by total unique customers in a month. So that's a very crude definition, that you look at all the budgets. Budgets will include your marketing spend, your overhead cost, your tools cost, your employees or resources cost, everything you are like in the marketing department you are spending to acquire the customer, or whatever you are spending in marketing is taken up together, and total revenue of the store is taken, and you just divide them and you get a CAC. But that's not a exact definition, but still it's a easiest definition. Second correct definition is more around like you look at CAC, customer acquisition cost, where you take only the marketing budget or the resources or the effort allocated to acquiring new customers, and you divide it with total new customers, so total unique new customers. So these are the two definitions which is the most important, like CAC versus LTV. Like this is for CAC, and once this is sorted, and it needs to include everything. Next is like a blended CAC. So easiest is blended CAC, because blended means everything. You take all the sources, wherever all the channels, and you give a blended CAC. So blended CAC may be like this number, which is more like you take all the resources. So there might be some channels you might not be spending any money, like organic or email marketing, you might be spending very little money, and you also include Facebook marketing ads budget into that. So you get a blended CAC. So blended CAC is little bit misleading, but it's good enough for our calculation, just to get a start that where our current CAC LTV is at. But if you want to get into actionable stuff, then you need to monitor CAC on the channel basis. So it needs to be like a paid CAC or like organic CAC or email CAC. So like email is not a customer acquisition, so but it's still like for new customers for cart and do. So over there we will be looking at the CAC from there. So it gives a better picture, and it gives like you can justify if a channel particularly is generating customers at very high cost. So that's the that you need to calculate CAC at the individual level. Next to coming to it is like next is how to calculate your customer lifetime value. So in customer lifetime value, we look at so it's a little bit tricky, and everyone has its own implementation, but there are two ways to calculate it. One is like your average order value into repeat purchase frequency. So the main critical or the contention or is the duration, like how long should we calculate this number. So our recommendation or my recommendation is to calculate it on 6 months basis. So 6 months is basically, that's a good enough time frame, and most of the startups don't have bigger runway. So if you are making a profit from a customer in 6 months, well and good. If it's more than 6 months, then it's a cherry on the cake, but it's not this thing, like you can't rely on that, or you can't take that into your consideration. So it's more like anything after that, it's a positive sum. But apart from that, if you are in SaaS business or any other businesses, or even enterprise like tools like Slack or this Microsoft or Salesforce, take CAC like LTV on 10 years or 8 years kind of basis. But for most startups, you don't have that kind of a runway, and also the historical data is not there and all those things. So it's best to keep it 6 months for the sake of simplicity and action for taking actions. Next is once you decide that, average order value is quite simple. It's like it's visible in GA also. This, if you want, I can like how to calculate GA, like average order value is total revenue divided by number of orders. So most of the brands to whom we talk knows about customer lifetime values, average order value. So average order value is easier metric. Next is repeat purchase frequency. So repeat purchase frequency is little bit tricky. It just says that how frequent people will buy in the particular duration. So let's suppose we have taken over here 6 months. So 6 months, how frequently people will buy in next 6 months. So on like 6 months figure. So mostly if you say your repeat purchase rate is 30% or 40%, so what you can say is that every acquisition I am doing today, at least 40% of people will buy in next 6 months. If you can say that, like, so then your repeat frequency is like 1.4. So 1.4 one time is the first purchase, and 0.4 is the duration, or like a percentage of the people who will be buying in next 6 months. So this is like a 1.4. So now if you have your average order value at average order value is this like a $50, and repeat purchase frequency is 1.4, then your customer lifetime value is $70. And this is mainly for e-commerce. But what happens is that if you are like acquisition, or this is very high, like the product goods or COGS is very high, then what you can do is like most of the brands, or some brands typically take on profit. They calculate on how much time it took and minus COGS plus shipping costs. So you calculate LTV minus CAC minus COGS minus shipping costs. So that's like a total profit from a customer. But currently it's like LTV definition is simple. You just multiply and then we divide it by CAC. So we divide it by CAC, and that's where we come at this definition of customer lifetime value, which is like the ratio. So ratio. So once we divide, we come to this ratio of CAC to LTV ratio. So over here, the idea is that if you are spending more to acquire a customer and you are not getting enough out of those customers, then eventually you will shut down, and it's a loss-making business. If it's like even if the ratio is like 1:2 or 1:3, then also you're just break even, because like 20-30% is ops cost, and like 30% is like there is a operational overhead, and there is a COG also involved, and customer cost of goods sold. So eventually what you need is like minimum 1:3 is a minimum number, and what you ideally target for is 1:5 or 1:4 kind of a number. 1:3 is very like deadly, or like so if you are making only 1:3, then anything less than if you are making anything less than 1:3, then it's a little bit loss making, or like a tough business to run. So that's the CAC LTV model. Once you calculate this, the idea is to decrease the CAC and increase the LTV. So there is a different metrics for everything, but for CAC, if you diversify your channels and you figure out that what's the culprit, or what's the main channel who's like bumping up the CAC, and how we can lower that campaign or lower that channel, or remove the dependency from that channel and distribute our acquisition to other channels. So it can be referral, it can be loyalty, not loyalty, but like a referral, or it can be organic, it can be email marketing, it can be higher conversion rate to bring your CAC down. Similarly for LTV, there is a like a repeat. So there can be like average order value. You can work on average order value, improving average order value, which is mostly about this thing where you do bundling and cross selling and all those things. And second is your repeat purchase frequency, where the focus is more on increasing the repeat purchase of the customer. So these are the two metrics, two levers which you have to improve your LTV. So once the LTV goes up and the CAC, so then it's a profitable business. Otherwise, it's a unprofitable business. And what happens with scale? So that's the main scary part. That with scale, what happens that okay. So what happens with the scale, that once you grow, so at least supposedly you are at 10,000 revenue per month. So once you and currently your CAC is like let's suppose $25, and your LTV is around $70 or $100 is your LTV. So 125, and so your CAC to LTV to CAC is 4:1, and that's your current numbers looks like. Now once you scale and you reach to like 100k per month, then you will start seeing some dip in your CAC, your LTV. So LTV, because you have got all the loyal customers, and now you are going after like new customers, or like who might not have the direct need for that product. So your LTV will go down a little bit, and because you are spending tough or spending high to acquire those customers, or spending more to acquire those customers, your CAC will go up. So these are the two things. And once you reach at 1 million level per month, or like a 10 million level, so your CAC will keep on increasing. And as you go along, or like as you go bigger and bigger, then the competition also increases. You run out of channels, you run out of this thing, and your CAC tend to increase. And there is a deadline, there is a like number pressures and all those things. So then you tend to go, if you go very aggressively, then the problem becomes is that your CAC shoots up through the roof, and you're not able to control that. And LTV, because you are going too aggressively, so you attract non profitable customers, or very like low LTV customers who might buy one $15 product one time from you. So your whole average will come down very fast. So that's the tricky part. So even if you have your CAC LTV sorted, LTV to CAC sorted at this stage, you need to keep on monitoring that. And there are three metrics to monitor. One is like, don't look at blended CAC, look at the individual channel CAC. Second is you look at your average order value, trying to figure out how to increase the average order value. And third is like how to increase your repeat. I hope this was useful, and if you find value in this, so please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.